Hi everyone, welcome back to the Designer Gamer. Today I'm excited to announce that the next bunch of games I'm going to be doing is going to be the Bit Generation series that was released for the Gameboy Advance. If I remember correctly, the Bit Generations was supposed to be an experiment to make minimalist games that I guess were easier to make since they were not longer games. They're more like pick up and play. But and I think they were also supposed to be inexpensive. The irony is that since they're very rare and they were only released in Japan for the Game Boy Advance, they've become expensive if you want to get them. So, yeah, I guess they were a success. Anyway, right, so there are 7 games in total, and they all have this minimal design, and they're all like kind of pick up and play games. They're not really like long RPGs where you're going to be sinking hours and hours into them. But they're very fun and enjoyable games. So I'll just give a quick description of each game, and then in separate videos I will review the games and play them. So first we have Boundish. It's basically like Pong on steroids. Like there's a bunch of little games that you can play, which basically deal with two players and a ball that you're bouncing back and forth, and if it passes onto a player's side, then the other side gets a point. There's several modes, and yeah, I'm not sure how much I like that one, but I guess we'll see in the playthrough. Colorist is more of like a tile matching game where there's a grid and there are different shades of color, and when you match the same color, they clear and more tiles appear, and the goal is to get a certain amount of tiles to get to different stages. Then there's Dial Hex, which is it's kind of like Hexic, where you have a hexagon that you could turn triangle-shaped pieces that fit together on the game board, and when you match enough of them, they disappear. DigiDrive is an interesting traffic management game where you're managing an intersection, and you're directing little cars to go in each of the lanes. And then there's Dotstream, which is kind of like it's a racing game. It's kind of like if the light cycle from Tron was on the Atari. But I guess since these are all Game Boy Advance games, the effects, like subtle glowing effects, and maybe the music is better than what you would find on the original Atari consoles. That's to be expected because the Game Boy Advance has probably several technological advances over the original Atari consoles. Then there's Orbital, which is a fun little game. Basically, you play it. It's kind of a mix of playing with magnets and Katamari Damacy, where you can control the polarity of your planet, and you're supposed to absorb smaller planets, and as you absorb small planets, you get larger and larger, and to clear stages, you're supposed to get as big as possible, or something like that. right. And then there's Sound Voyager, which is, I'm not really, I don't think I played it before, or I may not have played it properly. It's a game that's meant for blind people to be able to play, and you don't really need to see anything in order to play. It's more of an audio game, so you need to have good stereo headphones and a quiet space to play. So I'm not sure I ever played it properly. I think maybe at the time that I played, I didn't realize that it was solely an audio sonic experience. So maybe now that I'm aware of it, I'll be able to play it properly. The only challenge is that while I'm recording on my Chromebook, it doesn't record the system audio. It only records what it hears from the mic. So, and if I need to use headphones for this, I won't have any of the game's audio playing through the speakers. So I'll have to figure out a way to record this in a way that I could share it properly. I guess that's that for all the games. Hold on a second. So as far as which videos I'll be making, so Boundish is going to be a short one. Colorist will also be short. Dialhex will be short. Digidrive will be short. Dotstream, I could actually do a full playthrough of the game. That might take several videos. Orbital would be the same like Dotstream, in that there's a bunch of stages that you could clear, so I could do a playthrough of that. And Sound Voyager, I don't know what's going to happen with this. So, I guess we'll see what happens when we get there. While we're at it, and I have these title cards up for the upcoming videos, I just want to talk about a little bit about the work that went into making them, because some people might not realize the work that goes into them, and it might be taken for granted. So first off, I did a vector trace of the Bit Generations logo. I see it might be a little wonky over here. I might have to fix it a little bit to make sure everything is perfectly aligned. But yeah, this was actually pretty fast. I just drew a bunch of rectangles and moved them around. But yeah, so when I was looking for logos to use, I couldn't find a really nice high resolution one, so I had to make it myself. So now we have I guess on these PNG thumbnail images, you're not going to find super high resolution, but at the size that they're viewed, they're pretty crisp. And then I went with the decision to use screen captures of the game title screens for my thumbnail cards. And then I decided that even though some of them had a white background, and some of them had a black background, since most of them had a black background, I decided to make them all with a black background. So I'll discuss some of the challenges that I encountered while trying to do this. So Boundish was one of the ones with a white background. So what I did was invert the color, because originally the logo was black, and then the little red dot became blue. So the way I fixed that was by using a hue saturation adjustment layer in Photoshop, and then just tweaking it until it matched the color of the red that was in the original logo. This was straightforward. I just cropped it out. It was on a black background. This was also on a black background, so that was also easy to just overlay. So for all of them, actually, there is a background shape, and then I dropped it to make sure that it's the same color as the screen capture that I did, and I could basically move the logo from the screen capture anywhere I want on my artboard, and not worry about having anything blank behind it, because I have my background shape. So I was able to just move this around wherever I pleased and make sure it looks visually balanced. Your DigiDrive was a bit of a challenge. I wanted, even though it was the original one was on a white background, inverting it would have made this like a teal color, and I could have switched that with the adjustment layer, with the hue adjustment layer, but then I would have been left with this negative space would have been black, and then this piece that's out of the little cluster over here would have been opposite colors. These would have been black and this would have been white. So I wanted to keep the original colors like this, the white cluster with the black piece, and then the word mark in white, while keeping that pixelated look. So actually you could see that the containing shape has a sharp edge, a clean edge, and because what I did was I just drew the containing shape behind it, and actually I just cut out the inside of this and used the pixels in Illustrator. So I would have this piece of the artwork, and then I just drew the containing shape and placed it behind the pixel part of it, so that way, and I matched the color of the containing shape to the screen capture that I had. So I got that red containing shape, and then I kept the elements of the logo in the colors that they were originally. So yeah, I think it worked okay. I would probably prefer if the containing shape looked a little pixelated, just like everything else. So it was, so it would be, what's the right word? Seamless or uniform? Yeah, that's a better word, uniform. So maybe I'll try to figure out how to do that. Or if I just brought it into Photoshop, and I'm sure I could reduce the image quality of the containing shape to make it pixelated, and then bring it back into Illustrator and use that if I'm interested in doing that. So dot stream is just the same thing like the other black ones. Just place it visually centered, visually balanced, and then orbital was also similar. It was also on a black background. And Sound Voyager was a little tricky because when I first placed it, it took up the entire artboard. So I liked the way it was sitting, but then it would have interfered with the place where I placed the Bit Generations logo. So I was experimenting with putting a stroke on here on the Bit Generations logo, but I didn't like that. So I ended up reducing the size of it, or I also tried reducing the opacity of the Sound Voyager logo and also having a stroke around, an outer stroke around the Bit Generations logo, but I ended up going with just reducing the size of the Sound Voyager logo. That way I could just keep the Bit Generations logo uniform like it was on all the other title cards. So that's just a little behind the scenes info of the work that went into making the thumbnails for these upcoming videos. And so I hope you stay tuned for and enjoy the content that I'm going to put out, and I'm looking forward to having you join. So like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the next video.